Okay, this is your homework help for your math warm-up for week 24. Make sure you copy it down on paper and turn it in to your teacher by Tuesday. The best grade you can get is a 70. Okay, number one is asking you for vocabulary. It's saying, what is that 5 in the number sentence? Well, I know it's not a term because a term is the 5x or the 2. It's not a variable because the variable is the x. It's not an equation because the whole thing's an equation. So that number in front there is called the coefficient. Okay, in this problem, number 2, Harry worked 1 3/4 hours on Friday, 3.5 hours on Saturday. What's the total amount of hours? That tells me I'm going to add. So I'm going to add 1 3/4 plus 3.5. Now when I add that, I notice I don't have the same denominator, so I'm going to make them equivalent denominators, or like denominators, and make equivalent fractions. So over here, my denominator is 2. I'm going to make it a 4. So 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. Now that I got the same denominator for my fraction, I can add 3 plus 2 is 5 over 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. I get 4 and 5/4, so when I look at my 5/4 there, I know it's improper. And I'm going to divide, so I'm going to go ahead and divide it. I'm going to say 4 will go into 5 one time with 1 left over, so it's 1 1/4. So I'm going to take that 1 whole, add it to the 4 there, so I'm going to get 5 1/4, which is C. Okay, number 3, it says, what is the solution to this number? It says y minus 1 3/4 equals 3. So I know my operation here is subtraction. So I know the inverse of subtraction is addition. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 3/4 to this side, add 1 3/4 to that side. The 3/4 cancels out and leaves me y. On the other side, when I add those, I get 3 plus 1 3/4. So I just bring down to 3/4 because I'm adding. 1 plus 3 is 4. So my answer to this problem is going to be 4 3/4, which is C. Okay, there's a couple ways of doing number 4. You can write out an equation. It says this piece right here is x, and these little pieces are 1. So that says x plus, I got 1, 2, 3, equals 8. So I can sit there and I can say minus 3, and I'll get x equals 5, which is D. Or if you wanted to do it just by counting, instead of doing it that way, you get the same answer. I notice I got 3 over here. If I take out 3 here, I'm stuck with 5, which is equal to that. I still get D as my answer. Okay, number 5, it says for each 1/2 cup of milk has 4 grams of protein. How many grams are in 3.5 cups? So I know if I drew a picture and there's 1 cup, and I know that 4 grams are in 1/2 cup, so in 1 full cup I'm going to have 8 grams. If I have another cup and each cup, 1/2 cup is 4 and 4, I'm going to have another 8 grams. And I'm going to keep on doing this for 3.5 cups. So I know I got 4 here, and then 1/2 of 4 right there. So that's 8 plus 8 plus 8, which is 24, plus 4 is 28 grams, which is D. Okay, first of all, number 6, it says which inequality represents this graph? Well, I know since it's a closed circle that it cannot be A or B because that says it's an open circle. When I look at this, I notice my variable's on the right, not on the left, so it doesn't point to it. So if I want to change my variable so that it points to which way, I got to remember to change the inequality symbol. So this x is greater than or equal to 2 is the same as 2 is less than or equal to x. Over here, I do the same thing like that. So once I change it, then I can look at it, and I know that since x is on the left, it's going to point to which way, and my answer is D. Now, if I did not change it, I would still get D as an answer, but I like to pick a point, like 0. And instead of X, I'll put 0 there to see which one is true. Is 2 less than or equal to 0? No, that's not. Is 2 greater than or equal to 0? Yes. So I still get the answer of D. Okay, number 7. This time the variable is on the left, so it does point to it. Again, I can look at this. It says Y is less than -3. So I know it's not A, because that says less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. I know it's not B. So now I'm just going to look which number is less than -3. And when I look at that, that is C is my correct answer. Okay, number 8 is just like number 6 here. You notice the inequalities on the right, not on the left. But I do know it's greater than or equal to, so the circle must be closed. So I know it can't be A or C. Now, if you want to switch the inequality, put it on the left-hand side. Make sure you change the symbol. So I know that N is less than or equal to 1. So it's going to be pointing to the left. So my answer must be D. Okay, on the back side, I have to find the area of each of the faces. So this one right here and this one right here is going to be the top and the bottom, which would be the same. So as I'm looking at those faces, I have to find my measurements. So I know the formula for it is A equals base times height. So I have to find my base and my height. So when I look at this shape right there, my height is 7. And my base is this little piece, which when folds over is the same as this, is the same as that, which is 1. So I know when I multiply 1 times 7, I get 7. So the area for the top is 7 millimeters squared, and the area for the bottom is going to be 7 millimeters squared. The next shape, I'm going to do the front and the back. The front is this one. The back is this one. The front says 7 times 5, so when I do the area equals base times height, 7 times 5 is 35 millimeters squared. Well, the back's going to be 35 millimeters squared. And then the last one that I'm going to do is going to be the sides right there. So the front side and both sides are the same, so I know it's base times height. My height is 1, and since that's 5, this must be 5. So 5 times 1 is 5 millimeters squared. 5 millimeters squared. When I add all of those together, I get a total surface area of 94 millimeters squared. Okay, this one's very similar to the last one, but this time I got the three-dimensional shape. So when I do the top shape, which is that shape right there, it's the same as the bottom shape. So I'm going to multiply for the top. Again, it's base times height. The base is 12. My height is 7. So 7 times 12 is going to be 84 inches squared. The top and bottom have the same area, so that bottom is going to be 84 inches squared. Now I'm going to do the front, which is this piece right there. I don't think this went off this time, so I'm going to repeat it. The front and the back have the same area. So my area is going to be this shape right there, and then the back is that shape right there. So again, I'm going to multiply base times height. 12 times 2 is 24 inches squared. The back's going to be 24 inches squared. And then the last thing I'm going to do is my sides here, that side and that side. So again, it's area equals base times height. My base is 7 and my height is 2. So I'm going to multiply 7 times 2. So for one side I get 14. For the other side I get 14. Now I'm just going to add all my sides together. So I got 84 plus 84 plus 24 plus 24 plus 14 plus 14. So my total surface area is going to be 244 inches squared. Okay, on this one I'm going to start with my triangles here. This is a triangular prism. So on my triangles I got to remember the formula is A equals base times height divided by 2. So my base is 6, my height is 4, divided by 2, so 24 divided by 2, I get 12 centimeters squared. Well, the other one's going to be 12 centimeters squared. The next shape I'm going to do is the side here, which is this rectangle, which is 5, or excuse me, area equals base times height, which my base is 16, my height is 5. That side's going to be the same as the other side. So as I multiply 16 times 5, I'm going to get 80 centimeters squared. And the other side is 80 centimeters squared. And then the last rectangle is this base right there. And the base is still a rectangle, but this time it's 16 times 6, which is going to be 94 centimeters squared. So when I add 12 plus 80 plus 94, I get a total surface area of 280 centimeters squared. Make sure you turn this into your teacher by Tuesday of next week.